Democrats made huge gains in Virginia when President Trump was in office. Now they're trying to weather the decline in President Biden's approval rating. Republican Glenn Youngkin gaining ground with a new poll showing a 46-46 split.
Whatever edge Democrat Terry McAuliffe had at the start of the campaign appears to be gone.
Well, the idea that this is close should not shock anybody. For 44 straight years, the party that wins the White House, the next year in Virginia, the other party wins the governor's mansion.
The gubernatorial race between Glenn Youngkin and Terry McAuliffe is now dead even.
McAuliffe calling in big-name Democrats like former President Obama, who joined him in Richmond on Saturday.
Because I could not be happier that Terry's back on the ticket. He's persuasive. Don't sit this one out.
The pressure is on. A Monmouth survey showing McAuliffe dropping 5 points since last month. And this comment during a debate.
I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach.
McAuliffe then cut short an interview with a local news reporter because he didn't like the questions.
All right, we're over. That's it. That's it.
The Youngkin camp on offense with a new campaign slogan, Parents Matter. And he's demanding the Loudoun County School Superintendent Scott Ziegler and the school board resign. This after a revelation that Ziegler sent an email to the board about an alleged assault by a male student against a female student in a high school bathroom, 1 month before publicly declaring he had no record of such an assault. Youngkin telling Fox News it's outrageous. The email simply confirms what we know, which is we had administrators at a school board who have been covering this up. With the race a virtual tie, both sides are campaigning to faith voters. Kamala Harris endorsing the Democrat in hundreds of churches across Virginia.
I know that you will send Terry McAuliffe back to Richmond.
And conservatives distributing voter guides in others. Pundits say the McAuliffe camp is trying to drum up the enthusiasm that appears to be lacking for his second gubernatorial run. The same Monmouth poll showing Republican voters are more motivated to vote by a 7-point margin.
The Democratic base in Virginia appears to be a bit fatigued from the last election amid the global pandemic. Biden's approval ratings in Virginia have ticked down.
But by the numbers, Youngkin's camp is gaining steam.
This is our moment. Right now.
The biggest swing from independents breaking for Youngkin, 48 to 39%. McAuliffe's advantage among women also shrinking by 10 points since last month to a 4-point lead now.
Well, while Biden won Virginia by 10 points in 2020, McAuliffe now reportedly said that Biden is actually hurting his campaign, but walked back those comments later, saying it was gridlock in Washington. Gordon and Terry.
Well, Tara, tell us, is this turning into a referendum on President Biden? Is his dropping numbers actually hurting McAuliffe?
Well, you know, if you look at it, the analysts are saying that there really is a direct line between President Biden's polling numbers and Terry McAuliffe's losing his gain, or at this point, it's hard to even say if he's got much of a lead at all based on the latest polling numbers. Let me tell you this. So there's a Signal poll out today that says 55% now of voters have an unfavorable view of President Obama, only 48% favorable. So, you know, whether or not President Biden is going to drag him down, there is certainly an awful lot of concern about that now. You know, is Terry McAuliffe trying to distance himself at this point? It seemed so for a little bit, but he is going to be campaigning with President Biden this week in Northern Virginia. So, you know, time will tell, but I think it's probably safe to say President Biden is not at least going to be helping him very much, if not possibly hurting him, people say.
Well, the big guns are out for the Democrats. I've lived in Virginia most of my life, and I'm kind of surprised. I've never seen this kind of endorsement where the national stage is being focused on Virginia. Is it making a difference?
Again, you know, it's unclear. Maybe not, because the poll numbers between Youngkin and McAuliffe are getting tighter and tighter. It's really a toss-up at this point. Nobody knows. But there's been a whole laundry list of people who've turned out now for McAuliffe to try to pull him over the finish line. President Obama, as we have said, you have Joe Biden is coming. Stacey Abrams, an activist, has been here, a voting rights activist, the mayor of Atlanta. So a lot of people are showing out to help him. But the question is, are they really hitting on the right issues? They're talking about Donald Trump. They're talking about the GOP. There's plenty of attacks. But climate change, is that something that's really on the minds of the majority of Americans at this point? So the concern is, on that camp is, should they be talking about education? Should they be talking about inflation? What should they be talking about that's going to resonate in the end? So, time will tell. But, at this point, it's as tight as can be.
Well, former governors are getting involved. Doug Wilder's is now coming after McAuliffe, which is kind of a surprise. Tell us about that.
Yeah, definitely a surprise attack. Well, he's come out and he has said that they are taking for granted, the McAuliffe campaign and even Democrats are taking for granted the African American vote. And he's basically said that he's not going to come out and he's not going to support Terry McAuliffe. So, that's definitely not a good thing for him. He also doesn't like the fact that McAuliffe hasn't made, he says, Black universities and colleges a top priority. He also criticized him for flip-flopping on Governor Northam. In 2019, there were allegations Northam was in a blackface photo. Northam has never confirmed them, but Wilder says that while McAuliffe called for his resignation a couple of years ago, now he says he's honored to have his endorsement. So he was very, very critical, and I do think it would have caught that campaign, the McAuliffe campaign, off guard.
Well, Tara, thanks for the insights. Thanks for the report. Voters in Virginia and New Jersey go to the polls on Tuesday, November 2nd, to elect their governors. And we're going to have special election night coverage on the CBN News Channel. So if you'd like to see it, you can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on the CBN News app as well as the CBN Family app and get the latest on how these elections are turning